All right, VASH Core. Today we're going to be talking about the Ginger Blaster. Is it good? You garbage. I'm not a fan of this gun. I used to like this gun. It kind of reminded me of the Last Word, but honestly, this thing doesn't have any of the things that I like about the Last Word at all. In fact, it has, kind of some of the things I don't like about the Last Word, but it has the disadvantages, but not the advantages. So this thing does have a role to play. It is good in some ways, and if you can, utilize its strengths, you can do quite well with this. And we're going to show you guys how to really harness this weapon to be able to lay waste, because it does have some really awesome, unique qualities that you can only get with this gun, which makes it definitely a keeper. Definitely something you want to have on your arsenal, but honestly, something you're probably rarely going to use, if I'm being honest. All right, guys, if you like the content that we do here, if you love our videos, please use our supporter creator code. It really helps us out to keep on doing what we're doing and keep on cranking out videos for you guys. So thank you so much for the support. All right, so let's take a look, man. This is the Ginger Blaster. So we're going to start off with the perk loadout for this guy. We have a pretty good perk loadout, honestly. This thing has a great set of perks. Crit rate, double crit damage. Awesome, super awesome. This one and then it has reload speed. So the really defining feature of this gun is that it eliminates enemies and turns them into candies. At least sometimes. That's the big draw for this. It's like a candy corn LMG. When you're killing stuff, some of them will turn into gumdrops, and you can pick them up and heal yourself, or your teammates can pick them up and heal themselves. So it's really good. It's a winter pistol, potent and quick revolver with modest recoil. Now this thing actually has a lot of impact on it, and it's a 6-shooter, so it synergizes really well with Calamity. Calamity is you can use her as a main, or you can use her as a support character like I did, and either way, she's going to be a really staple character for this gun and for any 6-shooter gun that you play with. 6-shooter pistols is kind of her jam. She gives you, well, we'll talk about her in a bit. So anyway, moving on to the stats on this thing, it actually has a really good stat line. The crit rate is quite high. It's a 15% base crit, which boosts up to 43%. So really strong, lots of crit. The fire rate is, pretty modest, 4.5. It's, pretty solid fire rate. And the damage is okay. It's okay. That's for me, the damage is where this gun really fails. Is it doesn't have the snap. The reason that it doesn't have the snap is twofold. One, because it leans into headshots, right? This thing is dependent on headshots because it has a 2x headshot multiplier. So whatever you hit for body, you're going to hit literally double if you smack them in the face. So you got to go for headshots. But therein lies the problem with this gun. Because it's a headshot weapon, it completely fails because it's going to also screw over your headshots. This gun's impact is so high that one headshot usually is enough to completely cause the enemy to just like stumble and good luck hitting them in the head consistently when they're like falling on the ground and like jostling all over the place. It completely throws you off. It's like when you hit a blaster in the face and he just like does a freaking backflip. He just like swings his head all around. It's like, unless you have like laser beam mouse clicking, tracking skills, it's not going to be good, right? It's going to be a bad situation for damage consistency. And that's really where this gun fails dramatically for me, is sustained damage. The amount of damage that you do per minute on this gun is just not great. When I went and filmed this one, I did 3 reviews when I was reviewing this gun. I reviewed a sword and a assault rifle and a pistol. And it really reminds me of, how strong guns are and like what the differences are. The gun that I ended up reviewing was the Pain Train. And I walked through every single level, every enemy, every mission, every scenario, encampments, storm chests, defenses, everything with absolute ease. Like, it was like I could close my eyes and just like, just walk through everything and everything dies. This gun is not the same. This gun, you have to really try hard, man. You got to try hard, and you have to hit the face every time as often as you can, because if you don't, your time to kill is gonna suck. You're just not gonna kill fast enough. You go and try to do a storm chest with this weapon, and you will have to try so hard. And if you get a whole bunch of energy enemies like I did, you're not gonna do enough damage in time to deal with it. This gun just does not do enough damage. It takes too much time to do the job. Now, if you can take your time, if you're not under a time crunch like with a storm chest, this gun is actually incredibly powerful because the knockback can keep you safe. So you can just like, shoot them in the face, whatever's getting close, you're just like pow 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 pow, and there's like oh man, just like pushes them all back. Crowd controls them so fast and so heavy. It's unstoppable. It's a really good gun, but it lacks the damage and the versatility of the last word. It's not fully automatic. You gotta crank on the trigger, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like semi-auto weapons, and this is a semi-auto weapon. The damage is highly dependent on headshots, highly dependent on crit, so you kind of have to get a little lucky. It's not super lucky because it's almost 50%, right? 43% is really high, so you're gonna get well over 1/3 of your shots are going to be crits. So the consistency is pretty good, especially since the rate of fire is pretty high. It's a great gun. The fact that you have to hit headshots in order to really utilize the damage, and you have to pull the trigger every single time, and the enemies are getting staggered constantly, and the fact that this is a physical only weapon, those factors, there's too many factors leaning into this gun kind of just not being good enough. It's just not good enough. It's not a bad gun. There are terrible guns in this game, and this is not one of them. It is just a very mediocre gun. It's average. The thing that really makes this gun special and keeps this gun relevant is the fact that it can heal you and your teammates. The fact that if you get kills, you can get those gumdrops and you can actually heal your friends and heal yourself. That is going to keep this gun as a relevant force that will be on everybody's radar, that they'll always be like, maybe, and then probably not. That's kind of how I feel for this gun. Is it's cool and it does a neat thing that you're going to want to use, but once you use it, you're going to just feel like, nah, it doesn't feel worth it. It doesn't feel worth the amount of heals that you get. I would rather use something that does more damage, something that has more consistency, something that has higher sustained output, and something that I don't have to try so hard just to equal the mediocrity of other guns, right? Other guns you don't even have to try, and you'll do 10 times better than this gun, right? They're just guns that just outperform this so dramatically that this one feels like a waste of time, and that's really, yeah, that's how I feel on that. Now, there is a lot of different builds you can use to make this really, really good, and we're going to talk about my favorite. My favorite build for this one is the Immortal Gunner with a pistol variant. So with the Immortal Gunner, you're running with Survivalist Jonesy as your main. He's designed for survival. He's designed to regenerate health, to never die, to keep your health really, really high, so that he can augment your damage with the Blast from the Past and Rex Jonesy to raise your damage per second. So you got your Survivalist skill that gives you an extra 117 base health over 3 seconds. You can refresh that duration by getting additional kills, so you can just constantly have this flow of health all the time. As long as you keep on killing, you keep on healing. You got your Blast from the Past team perk that removes all your shields and boosts your health by 200, making you a super tank. Requires 2 Dino Heroes, which is no problem at all. We're going to use Prehistoric Izza to give us 33 more armor, making us tankier. Then we're going to give us Rex Jonesy for Saurian Might. He adds damage per second to your weapon. Every 1 second, your next bullet will add 3% of whatever your current health is, and then add that number to your damage of your next ranged weapon hit. So the healthier you are, the more damage you do. Very, very powerful character. Next, we're going to go with Ranger Beetlejuice. I guess she's not called Ranger anymore, is she? There's just VashenZ now, and she's going to give you an extra 75% critical damage on your pistol crits. Then we have your Ranger Deadeye. He's going to give you your extra 17% pistol damage. So you got your pistol damage, you got your pistol critical damage, you've got your VashenZ extra damage per second, and then you've got your 6-shooter from Quick Draw Calamity. She gives you an extra 20% pistol damage and raises the impact by 25% for the first 6 shots in your mag, which is a 6-shooter, so all of your shots get credit for this unbelievable character. So you definitely want to build her into your loadout. She's an absolute monster. Now, alternatively, you could also use her as a main character if you didn't care about regeneration. If you are confident that you can survive without really getting hit that much, and then use your gumdrops to top up, she is definitely a viable main character that you can switch with Survivalist Jonesy. You pretty much use the same build, but you switch them, put Survivalist in your support slot for that little backup healing, and then go more into damage with Quickshot Calamity. That way you have much more impact, much more damage. You can, improve the amount of, damage you're going to put on the enemy targets, but at the same time, you're also going to have even more Mist Monster impact, like just impact in general. You're going to be able to knock enemies all over the place with even more ease. I feel like that's a little overkill though, because the 25% that you already get for this feels like it's more than enough to just knock everybody all around, like constantly. Everyone's staggering constantly with this gun. You shoot them in the face and they're just like, oh Jesus, oh my God. And it's just like you have complete total control over the battlefield. So really, really solid. Either which way you want to go. You can also go with Ranger VashenZ if you want to sink really, really heavy into critical damage and just like all out the highest damage per second you could possibly do. Then she's going to be, hugely, hugely beneficial. She gets 225% critical damage. So for the total average, if you have high health all the time, she's going to be the best. If your health isn't high though, you're going to lose all the bonuses you get from VashenZ, which defeats the purpose of going for that extra critical damage, which is why I very rarely take her, because with the Blast in the Past team perk, VashenZ becomes a huge source of damage for any ranged weapon, and it really requires you to be at full health all the time, which is why Survivalist Jonesy ends up being the best character to take, because he not only has the most health, gives you the most survivability, he's also providing you with a massive, massive damage bonus through VashenZ. So you have a lot of options depending on your playstyle, your skill level, and how safe you want to play. There's a variety of different ways you can actually flip-flop all of these abilities and choose which one works the best for you. All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video on the Ginger Blaster. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe, guys. Leave a thumbs up. It really helps us out. Ring that little bell so you don't miss a single notification on any of our awesome videos. And leave a comment down below. Share some love. Come say hi. And if you have any other recommendations that you'd like me to cover, just let me know. And I got your back, man. As long as you got my back, I got yours, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the VASH Corps. I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, yeah!